Hello, this is Janet Sheng, Director of Grant Making for the Community Foundation for Monterey County. This presentation will provide an overview of our impact, organizational development, and board empowerment grant opportunities. Know that we continue to look for ways to improve our processes and make our grant forms easier to complete. The Community Foundation's online grants manager now takes advantage of the ability to access the information you provide to Candid GuideStar. Basic questions in our grant application form, such as the number of staff and the organization's fiscal year end, can be automatically filled in. The idea is for organizations to update their organization's public profile on Candid once a year. Then you won't need to provide this information with every grant proposal. For now, we only offer the ability to download basic information from Candid. As more organizations regularly update their information through Candid, we'll be able to rely on this technology. This graphic is from our impact grant guidelines. Whether you apply for $20,000 or $50,000, use the impact grant guidelines and impact application form. While we understand most organizations would like to receive a $50,000 grant, we suggest only applying for this larger size if you meet all the characteristics under the impact column on the right. Changes for 2026 include the small grant range beginning at $10,000 instead of $5,000. The small application due dates will be the last weekday of the month compared to the last day of the month. And all impact grant proposals, regardless of the requested amount, are due online by 11:59 p.m. of the due date. Our main funding interest remains addressing community needs and increasing services for Monterey County residents with the least access. The wording you see here was updated to align with our strategic plan. We want to support you in being successful. However, our grant budget is limited. If you're looking for funding to support a new pilot project, it might make more sense to ask the Community Foundation to support an existing program. We're looking for proposals that explain why the strategies work, and we ask you to share information with us regarding how you know you're being successful. What do we look for in a strong impact grant proposal? The grant committee looks for local data in your grant application. They're interested in knowing who you partner with. They're also looking for impact, that your strategies work, and that your clients and consumers are gaining knowledge and experiencing better outcomes. These components of a strong grant request are listed in the guidelines under Selecting Grants. The grant committee uses the same information when they review your proposal. We suggest that organizations that have received a recent impact grant of $35,000 or more consider applying for a larger grant. Strong proposals will refer to recent examples of the organization's successful work and the difference it's made for local residents. What we mean by community support is often reflected in individual contributions, board support, and the number of active volunteers. Capable leadership will have the appropriate knowledge and experience to manage a business. We also look in your proposal to learn more about how you work with the community. For example, does a prior client serve on the advisory board? Do staff ask for regular feedback and suggestions for improvement? Regarding reliable data and information, you could refer to some of the countywide assessments available at our data center, or you could include what you're learning from program participants. The last line regarding measurable goals is not listed in our grant guidelines. However, we discuss this every year. The evaluation plan is one of the most common areas of the grant application that could be strengthened. If a grant is approved, you'll be asked to share actual quantifiable results. People often skip this part of the report. We encourage you to propose meaningful goals that you'll be able to track throughout the grant period. More information is available through our evaluation clinic presentation on our website. Our Center for Nonprofit Excellence partnered with 184 nonprofits last year. We see firsthand how creative and resourceful you are. Many of you are looking for resources to grow your capacity or effectiveness to achieve your mission impact. A boost from an organizational development or OD grant can help you strengthen your resilience now and into the future. It's very important to review the grant guidelines to understand eligibility requirements. Please contact Susie Polnazik or Reed Norris before you submit your OD proposal. We're pleased to offer the Board Empowerment Program again in 2026. This program offers support to make meaningful changes in board structure, policy, or practices for a more effective, empowered board of directors. This includes a $5,000 unrestricted grant to support the organization's participation, including 10 months of focused guidance and coaching and cohort convenings with other nonprofits. Progress doesn't always look dramatic, but it is steady. A revised ED report, a new committee lead, a printed roll chart in a meeting. Taking these steps sparked momentum and reminded teams that governance doesn't require perfection, just movement. Here's an example of an inspiring project from last year. It involved a youth-centered agency with 14 staff and 6 volunteers serving young people and families throughout the county. Its small but committed team was ready to build a board that reflected its mission, not just in name, but in lived experience and perspective. Throughout the course of the Board Empowerment Program, the team focused on expanding the board, onboarding new officers, and preparing to welcome a youth member intentionally and relationally. The team developed and used the youth-centered onboarding conversation guide to shape mentorship roles and prepare adult board members to build relationships with youth. Rather than rushing into recruitment, they slowed down to build a foundation of psychological safety, accountability, and intergenerational trust. Additional information, including workshops and more nonprofit resources, are available at cfmco.org/CNE. Here's a summary of the 4 grant opportunities I discussed today. Approximately $3 million will be awarded through impact grants throughout the entire year. These larger requests are due by 11/59, March 20th. The smaller impact requests are due by the end of the day, February 27, June 30th, and October 30th. Organizational development proposals are accepted throughout the year until funding has been spent. And the board empowerment applications are due by 5 p.m. January 30th. If you're new to using our online grants manager, please review the overview guide on our website. Add administrator at grant interface to your contact list as we use the online system for regular communications. Check out the collaborate function when you start drafting your proposal. You can add a colleague to review and read a proposal, or you can give them authority to edit and submit the proposal. And of course, whenever there's any contact changes with the organization, please let us know so we can keep our communications updated. Again, we do not prohibit the use of artificial intelligence, but if you use it, please proofread it and make sure that it reflects the organization's values, perspective, and voice. Finally, here's our contact information. Feel free to email or call us anytime you have a question. We look forward to speaking with you and thank you for all you do in Monterey County.